بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أجمعين. Ismail Muhammad again with a new video and new reflection of Friday 10th of December's khutbah. It was absolutely intense khutbah, beautiful khutbah. I think one of the best khutbah recently, I've just literally recently, because it talks about something happening right now, today. The Imam spoke about, the holidays coming, the Christmas holiday that's just around the corner, and how young people are going to have plenty of free times. And because of that, he wanted to alert, the listeners, the audience, the people who's in the masjid about the importance of spending time and looking after their children, brothers, siblings, anybody in their families, especially teenagers. The Imam, Jazallah Khair, spoke about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, and the reason He created us is to test us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Tabarak, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. The reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the skies and earth and everything and the death and life, just to test us. Who among us is doing very well? We can't just go to compete to Jannah without actually being tested and seeing who's done good and who's done bad. Same thing in normal life. You can't go to exams, to education, and then expect to get the grade without studying and doing the hard work. So in order for us to pass this test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put temptation and shahawat and around, and shubuhat as well. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted shaitan the permission, so he can misguide us. And shaitan said that he will misguide us, he will make us do mistakes, he will make us change the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, change our body, change everything around us, change the way we think. So this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the shaitan's job, the full-time job of shaitan, is to distract us and takes us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Imam also spoke about how the people before us, nations before us, like قوم عاد, like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد. Like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed these nations, and because of the sins they did, they followed their desires and everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran as well, the Shaykh reminded us, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to destroy a country or town or a place or land or something like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will command the rich people in this town to do mischief in it, until when the haqq happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy it. وإذا أردنا أن Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وإذا أردنا أن نهلك قوما Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said وإذا أردنا أن نهلك قرية أمرنا متر فيها ففسقوا فيها فحق عليها القول فدمرناها تدميرا. Ibn Khaldun, the big alim, the big philosopher, Muslim philosopher, alim, he mentioned as well that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he wanted to destroy nation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will get them to indulge into temptation, shahawat and shubuhat, and then after that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will destroy that nation. That's what happened, like Andalus is in Spain, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the power, the everything, 800 years of prosperity and khair and everything. But when the Muslims indulge into shahawat and into this life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took it away from them. So nowadays, shahwat in this nation, in this shahwat and temptation, it never been so accessible, the Imam said, to any nations before us, because now it's so available and everywhere. Temptation, there's less respect to self-respect. People have the temptation in their hand, in the mobile phone. You could just access anything you want from your mobile phone. Imam just even spoke to the congregation. He said everybody have the temptation in your hands, which it meant that these phones that we carry around. He said, how do we control this, doing wrong thing while you have it in secret between us and things like that? How do we do that as an adult? So then the Imam after that start reflecting and start talking about, the young people, you know, the young people who grew up, the Muslim young people who grew up in this country, who don't have the solid foundation that will enable them to have, you know, challenge the shaitan. You know, shaitan sending against these young people all his armies, you know, from getting them to indulge in temptation, haram, you know, sexual desires, you name it, you know, like drugs abuse, even, you know, shubuhat hawla al-aqidah, as in, you know, doubt in the faith itself, which is even the more dangerous, you know, than any other thing. People start now, especially young people, start questioning about the religion because they don't have the foundation, and the parents were busy with their daily life, maybe trying to provide for them, yeah, allowing schools only to look after them, allowing, you know, society to teach these young people, and then these young people, you know, consumed from the society that they live in, and they left the value of Islam because they have no relationship, they don't understand it, they don't even have maybe the desire to go and understand their religion and their faith and everything. And also, if they wanted to go and find these desires around there is no one there offering it to them. There's no one there. Absolutely, there's no one there. Like, you know, small madrasa here or teacher there or something like that. But they finding it difficult. So therefore, they go to the internet, and sometimes they get the wrong teachings, the wrong understanding, the wrong explanation. Some young people, they have doubt, and you find people as well, you know, leaving the religion for a simple thing, for asking a question to some confusing question or doubt that they have to a teacher who don't even know how to answer the question, or to a parent who he himself or her herself doesn't even know the answer to this question, and then after that they base their decision on, you know, not finding the correct answer, which is number one, is not fair on the young people. And also, the issue is not Islamic issue. It wasn't the problem about Islam itself and the question around Islam. The issue was because the young people couldn't get this access to this right knowledge in the right time in their life. So, you know, the Imam spoke to everybody in the masjid, and he said to them that if you think that you are, even you who are listening to me right now, you think that you kids are safe from this, no, you know, because, you know, the cup that all these young people who start selling drugs or doing a haram thing or have shubuhat and doubt in their religion drank from and took from, is available, is accessible, is out there. So it's a matter of you children just go to that and maybe finding someone who give them, you know, or push them to sell drug, or give them to consume drugs, or you know, a fitna coming to them in the form of you know, sexual desires or something like that. You know, this is the issue that we have in these societies. The Imam talked about the problem, but obviously gave solutions, and the solution is that we as Muslims, especially in every household, you know, there's a broken houses, there's a families that where the fathers, instead of spending time with their children, they spend time at coffee shops and with friends, leaving their children to learn from outside. And he said to these fathers, you are responsible. You are responsible in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about your children. Allah will question you about why you leaving them there without giving them the, the knowledge that they needed, the time that they needed to spend with you. Also, broken families, you know, mothers and fathers who always have, you know, complaint and issues with themselves that result in the impact of that problem that pushed down on their children. The Imam spoke about, you know, like reducing these issues, trying to solve it away from the children, and also try to sustain the family unit, yeah, to give the children a prospect and a good place to grow up and become a good Muslim. Also, you know, giving them the knowledge that they need by providing them with, you know, like, you know, the ilm, by bringing teachers and support that they need. I think this khutbah, you know, like it touches, you know, it's relevant to today's life. It's relevant to me as a father, you know. It's relevant to me as a person who lives in the West. It's as well as relevant to a lot of people who normally, like, you know, don't get to hear this one. Sometimes you go to a masjid and you listen to khutbah, and, you know, from the beginning till end, you don't even understand what you've heard on things like that. But you know, certain masjid, and such Jazallahu khair, that mosque that I attend, you know, their khutbahs more likely, most of the time, are relevant to today's life, are relevant to what I feel. It's like it's talking to me as a father, yeah, and also it's talking to the young people. So now, if you're a young person who's listening to this, who didn't attend the masjid because you were in school, please just reflect on this one. You know, your parents want all the best for you. Your parents want you to become successful in this life and hereafter. You know, there's some people who says all the time, you know, you're only gonna live once and things like that. That's not in our faith. That's not in our belief. We know that we're gonna live again, and we will be questioned about this. Saying it and acting upon that doesn't mean that there's no questions. Allah said in the Quran, and قوله الحق, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said is the truth. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I only created mankind and the jinn only to worship me. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and as I said earlier in Surah Tabarak, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت, the one who created the death, والحياة, and the life, yeah, ليبلوكم, to test you, أيكم أحسن عملا, who among you have the best action. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who have the best action. If you're a young person, I advise you, seek knowledge. If you have doubt in your faith and you have questions about your aqidah, please write it to me as well. I'll try to answer. You know, I would love to answer. Yeah, I might not even have the answer, but I'll try it. But if you have doubt in your faith, yeah, don't just walk away from the faith. Don't act on the haram that you temptation that shaitan is giving you. Don't act on all of these things. Please, 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 give yourself a chance, reflect, and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this relationship is not between you and the people around you. This relationship that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that Islam is giving you is a relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and I will be accountable to what we say, what we do, and how we conduct ourselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us khair in this dunya and akhirah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our kids, inshallah. Ya Arhamar Rahimin.